At the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, two of the best female breaststroke swimmers in history swam the 200 breaststroke with very different techniques. Tatiana Smith starts breathing when her hands are finished pulling. This is perfect for her efficiency as the head and chest are not causing resistance with the water while she's pulling. Lilly breathes while she is pulling. This helps her pull herself with more power. While her chest is pointing up, her shoulders are in a better position to generate leverage in the water. This is just one example of many variations of breaststroke technique, but these are the most obvious and they seem to be working right there because they were ahead of everyone and even ahead of the world record. If you don't know or don't remember who wins, I want you to try to answer this. Who do you want to swim like? Who should you base your technique on? In other words, who should be your breaststroke role model? If you're like me, without knowing the winner, these questions make you a little uncomfortable. It would be easier to answer if you knew who wins and then decide, even though you're probably way slower than both of them and they might win by 1/100th of a second. Even subconsciously or emotionally, you would give more weight to the technique of the winner than the second place. This is one of the many reasons why we watch the Olympics. We want to have one role model for every event. Even though that is human nature, I'm here to tell you that there are downsides to that approach. We often have to tell our swimmers about the dangers and disadvantages of trying to swim like the winner of the Olympics. Before you watch the amazing swimming events in Paris 2024 and try to swim like them, you must watch this video. Swimming is a young sport. In almost every other sport, you can see the athletes' movements and try to imitate them. In swimming, spectators could only see half of the movements before the 1980s. Then the underwater cameras started being good enough for the broadcast, so spectators could see almost the entirety of the movements. This gave everyone a chance to imitate the best swimmers in the world. I was one of those people for many years. Even if I could see exactly how the best swimmers in the world were swimming, I couldn't swim like them. Seeing someone do something and not being able to replicate it is unsettling. It's the reason our channel has many views. We try to bridge the knowledge gap between what you can see and what your body is capable of replicating right now. But not everyone accepts or even is aware that there is a knowledge gap. This psychological effect is called "what you see is all there is," or WYSIATI. WYSIATI was introduced by Nobel Prize-winning economist and psychologist Daniel Kahneman. WYSIATI refers to the human tendency to make judgments and decisions based solely on the information that is readily available or easily accessible to them, while failing to consider the information that is missing or not immediately apparent. This cognitive bias can lead to overconfidence in one's judgments. So when I saw an Olympic swimmer with a beautiful technique, I assumed I had all the information necessary to replicate it. But all I saw was 1% of their hard work. I based my technique on that. As I understood later, technique takes a lot of work. To swim with perfect technique, I needed the other 99% of work Olympians did. That meant miles and miles of drills, lifting weights, stretching, optimal recovery, and sometimes even overtraining. It's funny that we don't see an Olympic weightlifter doing a heavy snatch and think we could replicate their technique. But somehow we think we can do that in swimming without all the hard work. We have different body types and there's no perfect technique. That doesn't mean that every technique is equally as good. But sometimes you should base your technique not on the winner. Maybe you have different strength and your technique would be better if you swim like the second best swimmer. On this day, it was Tatiana Skonmaker, now Tatiana Smith, whose technique resulted in the best time, and just now she realized it was also a world record. 2 years later, she won this title again. I ask you again, is this your breaststroke role model? A Russian teenager, Eugenia Shegunova, broke Smith's record by 1.4 seconds. She used a slightly different technique. Does that change your role model? As you watch the Olympics, let them inspire you. Even try to swim like them. Just be aware that the winner's technique might make you slower or might feel impossible without more training. So, try to swim like the second, third, fourth, or fifth best swimmer and see if it fits better with you or if you learn something. Do you think Tatiana Smith will defend her title? Or will Kate Douglas, Tess Sholton, or another contender take her throne? If you want to know what all of these swimmers have in common, click on this video. See you there. Swim fast.